Christine Connor, owner of Amelie Designs, and today I have one of my worker bees with me. This is Beth, and she has just 30 plus years of experience in sewing and quilting, and she is just a real asset to have. I'm very fortunate to have her with me. Today we're going to be showing you, she's going to be showing you how she does these trims on the bottom of these towels. Now we have put out a new pattern called Rosie's Gift Garden. This is what the cover looks like, and it's basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 projects, 6 different projects that you can make, and one of them is this rose towel that you see here at the bottom. And here is a sample of the, I'll stand up and so you can see, and there's like a little wall hanging. There's a padded coat hanger which Beth came up with, that idea. There's a heart sachet, whoops, our heart sachet flipped around. Heart sachet coaster, little zipper purse, and then here is the towel that I challenged her with, but she did a beautiful job. Isn't that beautiful trim? Anyway, so today she's going to be showing you how to do these. She's going to be showing you her tricks and tips for these really cute towels. So let's go to the studio now.
Thank you, Christine. We're going to start by giving you some pointers on how to do this. And first of all, I'd like you to know that this is the type of trim technique that you can use on all sorts of products. This is a towel, napkin edges, burp, the little burp cloths that you would do for a grandbaby or a new baby. So what we want to do is we want to make a nice clean edge on the other side. We want it to be professional looking, and you can do that. I'd like to build the trim right now, and I use some very special products to help me do that successfully. And the first product that I use is Wonder Tape. It's called Wash Away Wonder Tape by Dritz. It's double-sided, and what I'll do is I will lay it on the back of the top ribbon that's going to go on top of the rickrack. The reason why I like it so much is that I don't have to pin anything. And sometimes when you're stitching on ribbon and you have pins in it, then you get funny bumps, or the needle will sway to the left or sway to the right. And this way you can get a very clean looking edge when you're stitching. The second piece of equipment that I like to use for putting trims together is the edge stitch foot. And the reason why I like it is because it has this guide right here. All machines have a guide foot. It has the guide that can run right against the ribbon and keep your needle in line. And then it also has this opening here where you can move your needle from left to right. I cut my trim 3 inches longer or wider than my towel that I was sewing, so that I have room to work with. Then I'm going to remove the sticky Wonder Tape paper, and now I'm going to lay it down on top of my rickrack, and I want to make sure that I have an even amount of rickrack on each side. So it takes a little bit of adjustment. I have set my machine on a straight stitch, and I have moved my needle to the left about 1.5 millimeters. The edge guide is going to run right along the edge of the grosgrain ribbon. Look at the guide and not at the needle as you sew. The guide is going to make sure you are sewing correctly. I have marked the bottom edge of my towel, and I like the relationship of the trim to 2.5 inches. So, and I've used a washable marker, always a good thing. And as you can see, I have sewn both sides of the grosgrain down to the rickrack. The other thing I have done is I've also added a strip of the Wonder Tape, so that when we're all done, I can strip that off and I can secure it on the towel before I have to sew it. Now I'm going to flip my towel over, And I'm going to put my trim right side down on the back of my towel. I'm going to make this edge even with the outer edge of the towel. I'm also going to just take a quick look and see if my yellow ribbon is lined up with my mark that I put on the other side. Then I usually take a straight pin and I pin this down, and it's time to go to the sewing machine. Make sure that you put your needle back to center. Change your foot from the edge stitch foot to just a regular sewing foot. And I like to put my needle length a little bit longer at this point, just as a test to make sure that it goes on right and I'm not trying to tear out very tiny stitches. So now I'm going to take a couple stitches forward, a couple stitches backward. When I get to the pin, I take it out. And if you notice, I am actually stitching very close to the seam line of the, or the hem line of the towel. I have stitched this down, and now I'm going to flip it over to the right side. I went to the iron and I pressed this down so it's nice and flat. So I flipped it back over, and I want to line this up with the blue line. Okay. Now this part can be a little tricky, but it really has sort of a formula to it. I have a hem here in my towel, and I am going to take the measurement of that hem and I'm going to double it. And I found that my hem is about a ½ inch, so if I double it, it's an inch. My towel is a little bit on the thick side, so because of that, I'm going to add another 1/8 of an inch. From the edge of the towel, I'm going to measure 1 1/8 inches. And I'm going to mark that. And it's at that marking that I'm going to cut off the excess trim. I have flipped over my towel so it's wrong side up, and I have made sure that the top of my ribbon is running along the top of my blue, or along the blue line. And if you notice, I have laid the edge, the cut edge, right against the outside edge of the towel. And I have a bubble, and we want to have that bubble because that's what's going to allow us to stitch and flip. So at this time I'm going to go back, I'm going to go to my machine, and I'm going to stitch the trim down to the towel, and I'm going to follow the line that was here already for the hemline of the towel. I have stitched my seam, and as you can see, I have room. At this point, I'm going to take the paper off my Wonder Tape. And now it's time to flip this around to the front. On this side that was pressed, I'm going to press this down with my Wonder Tape along the line. Now on this side, I still need to do a little finessing. When you have rickrack, you'll get these frayed ends. So I take a stiletto and I press it down in. Sometimes the finger works better than the stiletto. I press it down in there. One of my favorite products is Unique Stitch, and the reason why I like it so much is that it dries clear, and it won't go away in water, it'll stay. So what I do at this point is I just put a dab of the white glue down in there, and then again with my stiletto I'll push that down. at this point, after I do that, I would go to my iron and I would give it a good pressing. And then I would re-top stitch this down to the towel so that it's nice and secure, and we're done.
So, well, thank you, Beth, and I hope you guys found this video to be really helpful. You know, I have a confession to make. She was sewing all these towels, and I didn't even see these cool tricks that she was doing myself, and I was like, while we were videotaping this lesson, I was like, wow, that's really cool. One thing she forgot to do is show you the very back, the little side corner, so I want you to see that. Isn't that neat? How it's all nice and professional. So when I see your towels, we're going to be checking. Not really. All right, bye. See you again.
Thank you.
Another time. Bye-bye.